In the vast and infinite silence of deep space, something stirred. It was neither a common ship nor a known creature. It was a shadow, a whisper, a presence that crossed the boundaries between galaxies, leaving behind a trail of fear and destruction. This presence, known by the ancients as the galaxy's Boogeymen, was an enigma. Wherever they appeared, civilizations vanished. It all began on Arion 6, a prosperous planet located at the heart of the Triune Galaxy. Home to the Rockans, an amphibian species with translucent skin and bioelectronic circuits pulsating in blue, the planet was known for its floating cities and vast oceans filled with luminescent fauna. One night, without warning, communications with Arion 6 ceased. The accounts that followed were fragmented and confusing. Refugees spoke of invisible beings that invaded minds, forcing people to self-destruct or turn against one another. "They have no form, no face," said one survivor, wide-eyed and trembling. "All we have is silence and fear." The Intergalactic Confederation decided to send a team to investigate. Led by Commander Marcus Vex, a seasoned human known for his cold demeanor and calculated strategies, the team comprised specialists from various species. Among them were Elora, a Seraphine telepath with iridescent energy wings, and Dracther, a Cranox warrior with ebony skin and 6 glowing eyes. When the Nova Star reached Arion 6's orbit, the site was desolate. The floating cities were submerged, their energy fields deactivated. A dense green mist enveloped the planet, and sensors picked up strange electromagnetic readings. The ruins echoed with suffering. Something terrible had occurred there. The team landed on a partially destroyed platform. The air was filled with a metallic, acrid smell, and the silence was deafening. Dracther activated his scanning device, while Elora closed her eyes to sense telepathic residues. "There's something here, something ancient and hungry," she murmured, her wings shimmering in shades of purple and gold. Suddenly, a low, pulsating sound echoed in the distance. Marcus ordered them to form a defensive circle. "Do not let your guard down. This could be a trap," he warned. The team members adjusted their weapons and monitoring devices, but nothing could prepare them for what lay ahead. The Boogeymen's first appearance was subtle. They lacked physical bodies in the traditional sense. Instead, they emerged as living shadows, patches of darkness moving against the light. Their whispers pierced minds, reviving ancient fears and traumas. One team member, a human scientist named Richter, screamed and began firing wildly in all directions. "They're here. They're inside me." It was the beginning of a journey that would challenge the team's sanity, morality, and grasp on reality. The Boogeymen were not just predators, they were the very manifestation of fear, capable of turning emotions into deadly weapons. As they ventured into the ruins of an ancient Rockan city, the team noticed disturbing details. The buildings, with their crystalline architecture, were corroded as if an unknown force had devoured the very essence of the material. Inside the structures, there were signs of struggle. Scorch marks on the walls, shattered crystals, and trails of dried blood glowing blue under the lantern light. Elora stopped in front of a partially destroyed mural, which seemed to depict the Rockans in celebration. However, the lower part of the mural had been replaced with something darker. There were indistinct, amorphous figures that appeared to be consuming the Rockans while a spiral of darkness engulfed the scene. "This isn't Rockan art. They wouldn't create something like this," said Elora, her voice tense. "Maybe they didn't create it," replied Dracther, pointing to a scanning device emitting warning signals. "The energy here isn't natural. It seems something distorted the matter around it. These marks, they weren't made by conventional weapons." Suddenly, a sound resembling a cry echoed through the corridors. The team froze, their hearts racing. Marcus gestured for everyone to crouch. "Only fire if absolutely necessary. We need to understand what we're facing." They followed the sound, finding a wide, circular chamber at the center of the structure. In the middle of the room was an artifact that seemed to pulse with its own energy. It was a translucent sphere emanating a greenish light and a rhythmic sound, like a heartbeat. Around it were rocken bodies, frozen in poses of agony as if petrified at the moment of their death. "This is horrific," whispered Richter, visibly shaken. He tried to approach the artifact, but Elora stopped him. "Don't touch it. The energy here is psychic. It could be a trap," she warned. Before they could react, the room was engulfed in absolute darkness. Their communicators began to emit static, and the team members were separated. Voices began whispering around each of them, calling their names and invoking painful memories. Marcus heard his lost daughter's voice, while Drakther was confronted with visions of his species being exterminated. The terror was palpable, and the Boogeymen had made their move. Separated from one another, the team members were forced to face their greatest fears. Marcus, lost in the labyrinthine corridors of the chamber, found himself confronted by a hologram of his missing daughter. She reached out to him, calling with a sweet voice, but something in her eyes seemed wrong. "Father, why did you leave me?" Meanwhile, Drakther found himself on a battlefield. The bodies of his kind, the Cranox, lay scattered everywhere. He could smell the blood, hear the screams, but he knew it was an illusion. He roared, trying to dispel the vision, but the scene remained cruel and relentless. Elora, on the other hand, was confronted with absolute darkness. Her telepathic connection was invaded by a torrent of incoherent voices, each screaming fears and deep secrets. She fought to maintain her sanity, using her energy wings as a last line of defense. The Boogeymen did not attack directly. Instead, they fed on emotions, growing stronger as they spread chaos. It was a psychological war, where mental resilience was the only effective weapon. Through small breakthroughs, the team began to uncover clues about the Boogeymen's nature. In a hidden room within the structure, Elora discovered ancient Rocken records. The documents described the Boogeymen as interdimensional entities emerging from rifts in spacetime, drawn to concentrations of psychic energy. The records also mentioned a device called the Watcher, which could be used to close these rifts and banish the creatures. However, the device required a significant sacrifice: the life energy of a sentient being. With the discovery of the Watcher, the team faced a moral dilemma. Using the device would condemn one of them to certain death, but might be the only hope of saving the galaxy. As they debated the implications, they were approached by an unexpected figure, a surviving Rocken named Nyril. Nyril, a scientist who had studied the Boogeymen before his civilization's collapse, revealed he had tried to use the Watcher in the past, but failed because no one volunteered for the sacrifice. "I was a coward," he admitted, his voice heavy with regret. "Now, the responsibility falls to you." Nyril's presence brought a renewed sense of urgency. He explained that the Boogeymen were growing stronger and, if not stopped, could breach into other dimensions. "They aren't just our nightmares. They are the universe's nightmare." The debate over who would sacrifice themselves was intense. Marcus insisted that, as the leader, the responsibility was his. "I brought you here. Now, it's my duty to ensure you make it out alive." But Elora disagreed. "Your mind is essential for leadership. As a telepath, I might withstand the pain of the sacrifice longer." Drakther, however, remained resolute. "We Cranox live to protect. This is my chance to honor my species. I will be the sacrifice." Observing the exchange, Nyril suggested there might be another way. "If we combine our energies, we might be able to share the burden." But time was running out, and the Boogeymen were closing in. Their shadows had begun to infiltrate the team's last refuge. As the group prepared the Watcher, the Boogeymen launched their fiercest attack. Shadows engulfed the room, forcing each team member to confront their deepest weaknesses. Marcus faced his past mistakes, Drakther relived the genocide of his people, and Elora was overwhelmed by psychic screams that nearly broke her connection to reality. Yet together, they resisted. Using the last of their strength, they activated the Watcher. Energy radiated through the room, illuminating the shadows and banishing the Boogeymen back to their origin dimension. The Watcher consumed Drakther, who, as promised, sacrificed himself to save the team. His final word was a triumphant roar, echoing through the void as the light consumed him. Marcus and Elora, wounded but alive, vowed to honor his legacy. With the Boogeymen's threat eliminated, the Confederation initiated a plan to rebuild Arion 6 and protect other vulnerable planets. Marcus and Elora received medals for their bravery, but they both knew the true hero was Dracthyr. Nyril chose to remain on Arion 6 to assist with reconstruction and study ways to prevent the Boogeymen's return. Marcus and Elora, now bound by an unbreakable bond, moved forward together, leading new missions determined to protect the galaxy from future threats.